Hey everybody, welcome to the Appalachian ADV Community Podcast. My name is Kane Wagner, owner of Appalachian ADV. Today, I have a friend of mine on here. His name is Josh Nolten from Kissell Motorsports, and I think where a lot of the listeners will know from is Soggy Bottom MotoFest. So how you doing there, man?
I'm good, Kane, and thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure. We've talked about this for a while, and thank you for making it happen.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm glad we're able to find some time. We're going to be talking about all kind of things today, including the VDR documentaries that are coming up here, and I know you guys have one coming up here, so I definitely want to try to get you on here before that event at least, but definitely to talk about Soggy Bottom. So before we jump in all that, though, let's let people know who you are. Where are you from? Where are you living now? What's your work history? Because I know you weren't always an owner of a motorcycle shop, so let's talk about the beginnings of that, man.
Yeah, so I grew up in State College, Pennsylvania. Graduated from State College area high school, went to Penn State and got a degree in exercise and sports science. And while I was there, met my wife, Diana, who's originally from Boca Raton, Florida. So I actually used my degree for a while and was a personal trainer. I had started personal training part-time while I was in school, and then after graduation, progressed up to general manager of a local health club there in State College. Gained a lot of just valuable experience from a business management standpoint, people management, setting goals, etc. Worked there, between part-time and full-time for 11 years. And then an opportunity in Florida, where my wife is originally from. She grew up in the restaurant industry, an opportunity to own and operate a fine dining French restaurant, a family operation. That popped up, and so we did it. We moved to Jupiter, Florida in 2004. And actually, let me back up a little bit because there's to tie in the motorcycle thing. So I was one of these kids that used to literally have dreams at night about having a dirt bike. and it was just never in the cards. My parents, they were not motorcycle enthusiasts, probably didn't have the means at the time, et cetera, but I was a kid that just thought dirt bikes were the coolest thing ever. And, to come full circle here at 53 years old and own a dealership and sell Betas and BMWs is pretty wild to me. But at any rate, so early love of motorcycles, and then while I was managing the health club, decided, and I had never ridden a motorcycle, decided in my mid to late 20s, so right around 2002-ish, late 20s, I decided I'm getting a bike. Yeah. And those in the central Pennsylvania area will know Gov Yerrick. Unfortunately, he just passed away, but he was the owner of Number One Cycle, Harley Davidson shop here outside of State College. And he was a member of the health club, as was Craig Kissell. Okay, so keep that name in mind. So one day, chatting with Gov Yerrick, I said, "Listen, Gov, I want to get into riding. What should I start with?" He said, "Oh, go buy a Honda VLX 600." So, okay, if anybody knows what I should start with, it's Gov Yerrick. So I went and did that, and I owned that bike for 3 months, and then I felt like it was a little bit lacking from a speed standpoint, and I developed a friendship with Craig Kissell, who was also a member of the dealership, and he had founded and started in 2001 Kissell Motorsports. And it was founded as a Triumph and Kawasaki dealership, and at one point had Moto Guzzi, etc. But my uncle, going back years, my uncle had a Triumph Bonneville on the family farm down in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and covered in chicken crap in the barn. And I used to see this thing as a kid, and I thought, that's cool. That's a cool looking motorcycle. And he had it restored. Nice. And I said, "Oh man, this thing, this is a motorcycle to me." So I really developed a love of the European styling pretty quickly, and started with that. And so when Craig Kissell opened up Kissell Motorsports, and it was a Triumph dealership, and then I knew him from the health club, I went in there, and the Triumph Speedmaster spoke to me at this time. Okay, as I've gained experience, there's nothing speedy about a Triumph Speedmaster, but at the time, it's it was a jump up from the VLX 600 for sure. And I think Craig saw the kind of sparkle in my eye, and he started riding one of these Speedmasters over to the gym and parking it in front of my office window. And so that's how I got into European bikes. I bought that Speedmaster and rode it for a year or so around central Pennsylvania before we moved to Florida. And Florida, I had it for about a year. And the riding, we were in Palm Beach County. It's just city riding, flat, hot. And I really, after riding in Pennsylvania, didn't find it all that enthralling. And so I got rid of it and got a boat. And the boating was great in Florida, not so much the motorcycle riding. So we did the restaurant thing for 6 years, fine dining, French restaurant. I was in the kitchen, baptism by fire, learned a lot, more experience running a business. And to make a long story short, when the '08 housing crisis hit, I don't know if you remember that, but things took a serious turn for the worst. And you know, it was one of those things where it was a humbling experience, and we ended up having to declare bankruptcy. And it's one of those things where you never envisioned that even being a possibility when you've never been late on a bill in your entire life. But it was a good reset. It was humbling, and then you know you have to make a decision. Am I going to let failure define me, or is it going to be like, hey, the sun comes up tomorrow, and let's get back after it? So at the time we had 3 daughters, and our third daughter, Ashley, for our customer base, so many of them know this already, but we have a severely handicapped daughter. And so we had made the decision to move back to Pennsylvania after all this went down to, we'd have that family support to help with our daughter Ashley. And we had connections, people. In fact, Craig Kissell, he had stayed in contact with me, and he always liked the way I ran the health club. And he said, if you ever move back to the area, come work for me. And so 2010, we moved back to the area. I walked into the Craig's office, and he hired me on the spot. Nice. And so there I was. So I've gone from the health club industry to the fine dining French restaurant industry. Now, with no experience other than small business experience, which there's, of course, no matter what small business you're in, there's a tremendous amount of overlap. And now I had to apply the experiences learned to the motorcycle industry. And so I was very appreciative of Craig taking me on with no experience. I started in the parts and service department, and within 3 months I was the service manager, and really progressed there. And then in 2014, so 4 years later, took over as sales manager. Really got a good breadth of experience in parts, service, a little bit of F&I, sales. So I got a real well-rounded training, on-the-job training, if you would, to eventually, have the opportunity to purchase Kissell Motorsports. So that's how it all went down. We now have 4 daughters. My oldest is 25, and she teaches school in Palmyra, Pennsylvania. Her husband's a physical therapist. And my second oldest is graduating college with a nursing degree in May. And then we have Ashley. And then our youngest is 15 and a freshman in high school. So we live in Port Matilda, Pennsylvania. About halfway between Tyrone here, where the dealership is, and State College. My wife works at Penn State, so it's pretty convenient for both of us as it's about halfway. So I don't know if you want to get into the purchase of Kissell Motorsports yet, or
I was gonna say, I think if memory serves, you took that dealership over probably sometime around the time that the MA BDR was coming out. Is that correct?
A little bit before that, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so we purchased when I say we, I did not have the means to purchase the business by myself. So one of my
Mhm.
best friends, who grew up in family business and had been investing and working hard his whole career, came alongside me, and we invested 50% each. And, you know, here we are almost 9 years later, and we're still good friends. So that's and we have a couple other business ventures that we've now pursued as well.
Yeah,
So
great.
yeah,
Well, the first time I knew of Kissell Motorsports, because I'm from the Youngstown, Ohio area, so it's about 3.5 hour drive to get over to that dealership, was when the MABDR came out, because I had recently become an ambassador maybe a year or two before the MABDR, and when they had the document presentation, I remember Jack from Pine Barrens came and hosted that one for you. I was actually in the crowd. I drove down just to kind of hang out and check it out. I knew Jack had a handle on the premiere, so I wasn't there to help. I was just there to kind of see how it worked, because I hadn't done one before. And
sure.
that was the first time I ever been there. And I remember, I think I even talked to you for like a couple minutes, and you were saying that you had recently purchased it, and you had a lot of great ideas of what to do with it and everything. And so I remember being there and thinking, wow, this is, the place looked great. Everybody was like, your whole staff was there and like really pushing for the BDR movie, and like really involved with everybody that was there, and like chatting everybody up. It was really good to see a dealership like take that on and want to showcase the BDR too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you look at where we're at, right? We're in the hills of central Pennsylvania, which is a pretty unpopulated area, and here you are trying to
Yeah.
run a European motorcycle dealership out of Tyrone, Pennsylvania. And so a little bit of common sense will tell you, well, we'll play to your strengths. So we don't have the population base, we have the riding. And the type of riding we have is adventure and dual sport riding all around us.
Yeah.
And so, of course, it makes sense to come alongside the BDR, especially, the route comes within about 30 minutes of the dealership here.
Yeah.
And in 2016, so before we purchased the business in 17, and I honestly, truth be told, sort of developed the idea off of what Max's BMW had doing with their Max Fest. I saw that and I thought, wow, what a great branding event that is for Max's BMW.
Yeah.
And they say that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, and I thought it was a great idea. And here we are in central Pennsylvania, and I felt like something like Soggy Bottom MotoFest could really put us, on the map per se, and get us
Yeah.
known, because obviously we have to pull not just from our little territory here in central Pennsylvania, but the open points in northern PA and western New York. We've got to pull people in from outside of our immediate area to be successful.
Yeah.
And I tell customers this all the time. I said, you draw a 200-mile radius around Tyrone, Pennsylvania, and all of a sudden you get major metropolitan areas within the Mid-Atlantic region. So we're
Yeah.
sort of centrally located. If you were centrally located in Wyoming, the concept wouldn't work. But there's millions of people
Yeah.
within the 200-mile radius around Tyrone, Pennsylvania. So it works. So
Yeah.
we build those relationships. Started Soggy Bottom MotoFest in 2016. So year one was 2016. Humble beginnings. I didn't know what I was doing. I had never been to an adventure rally, and I think we had 13 total people, including some staff. So
Yeah.
that was 16. I had approached Craig Kissell and said, "Hey, what do you think of this idea?"
Yeah.
And Craig came up with a name. He let me kind of organize and develop it. But the Soggy Bottom MotoFest, he had watched. People always ask, where did you come up with that name?
Yeah.
And the location where we were holding it is down in a valley, kind of, central Pennsylvania. It rains a lot. It's always wet. And he had just watched that movie, Oh Heaven, Where Art Thou, or whatever it is, with George Clooney and
Yeah.
the Soggy Bottom Boys. And so that's where the name came from. And it's certainly between raining at the event and all the water that is involved out on the course. it lives up to its name more often than not. But
Yeah.
so yeah, branding opportunity. It was also a way to give back to the riding community. So it's really a twofold approach that I take to it and why we do it, because it is a lot of work, as you know, from planning your events.
Yeah.
So, a brand builder for the dealership and relationship builder, and then giving back to the ADV community and dual sport community. So it's a labor of love. 2017, we took the year off because we were actually closing on this business and the purchase, the buy sell in July of 17, and then picked back up in 2018 with year 2.
And it's all history from there. So that's reminds me, and I know you know Chad Warner that runs Whalen Wayne.
Spoke to
Around
Chad
the
this
same
morning,
time
actually.
frame. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys started with around the same time, and you started with around the same number of people at the first events. And then they've both grown into these gigantic, really fun events. And I've been going to Whalen Wayne for many, many years. And just the last couple years, I started going to Soggy Bottom. And I got to say, both events are awesome. And I really love the location that you guys are at for the Soggy Bottom, because it is from there, like my PA Wilds tour is just north of it. Sure. I used to do an event in Bald Eagle. It was just right there next to it. There's so much good riding in that area. You've picked like the perfect place to put on an event for sure.
Yeah, surrounded by state forest, literally.
Yeah, so this will be the 10th annual basically, and you usually run them in July, right? So this one's, I think, towards the end of July.
Yeah, people ask, why don't you move it to September? We have our niche. We've had probably a third of the years, 3 or 4 years where it's been very wet. 3 years where it's been very hot, and then we've had 3 or 4 years where it's that idyllic, week you get every once in a while in July in Pennsylvania where it's 75 with no humidity and crystal clear. So we've got our spot. There's so many events out there that you're always going to butt up against something.
Yeah.
And we have our spot there last full weekend of July, and we do it and deal with the weather.
Yeah.
So
I think it's weather aside, because you never know what you're going to get, anyway, no matter what time of year you put it. But I think timing wise, it seems like a good spot, because you have March Moto Madness is kind of one of the bigger events, and it's earlier in the year. You got Whalen Wayne and Blackwater. Those are now kind of in September. Those are both kind of larger events. So
and you've got the dirt days. So there's and I want people to be able to attend, not just Soggy Bottom, but certainly Whalen and Blackwater. We all want the same things, and we're all learning off of each other. And then a guy like you who comes along, ultimately we all want the same things. We want as many people involved in adventure and dual sport riding as we can get, and we want them to do it safely and enjoy it, and fall in love with it the way we have. We're just coming at it from different angles. And I'm not I'm not looking to ever be an event holder per se.
Right.
We do the one big event as a give back and as a brand builder for the dealership, right?
Yeah.
I'm not looking to retire and be just do events the way like you do or others. So I'm more than satisfied with Soggy Bottom MotoFest.
Yeah, that for me for sure. And I think just from talking to you in the past and a bunch of other people that do these things, it's we want to attract more people to it and continue to build up that adventure and dual sport community and get more and more people interested in it. So the more options we have for them, the more interest that's out there. And, I've said this in the past, probably on this podcast too, like somebody will come to my Fool's Ride one year and maybe they don't go to Soggy Bottom, but then the next year, maybe they go to Soggy Bottom, they don't go to mine. And then they've talked to people, and then I've been, to Soggy now a few times. I see a lot of the folks that come to my events out there. So then we're all cross-pollinating each other, and we're building a community. That's really what we're trying to do, is bring people into the fold and let them enjoy life. And I know for you guys, like, it is twofold, because you're also selling bikes. You need people to come back and continue purchasing bikes, or it just doesn't work. So to expand people's interest and get people out there and show them what you can do with these bikes, because it's much different than a street bike. You can go everywhere.
Yeah,
you can see so many different things. So
getting back to that idea that the commonalities between different small businesses. When you're in small business, I don't care whether you're in the septic cleaning business or motorcycles or restaurants. Your best advertising is word of mouth, and it's real relationship based.
Yeah.
Relationship based, and I've always believed that. Health club, same thing. And so by doing these events, by doing Soggy Bottom MotoFest, we're able to. I'm not interested in trying to sell motorcycles at Soggy Bottom MotoFest.
Right.
I'm interested in building relationships.
Yeah.
And then the downstream benefits, are inevitably there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the impetus behind Soggy Bottom.
And I'll say, like, that is exactly what, because I'm the same thing. I came from healthcare background, so kind of like a kindred spirit with you. Like, I don't know how to run a business. Well, now after doing this since about 2020, I'm starting to get a better idea for sure. But something that maybe not initially was that community aspect, that we're trying to help each other out and get like-minded businesses together. That's definitely been more of a push as I've established myself and figured out what the hell I'm doing and how to kind of make things work. Like, the next step for me then was, how can I build up this community better? Well, I can do that. I have a small business. I should partner with other small businesses, and we can help each other out. That's something that you don't think about unless you run a small business.
Yep. No, it's I started hearing about you. Oh, it's probably been 10 years, and it was mainly, I think, on social media. Probably saw something, and I'm not real into social media, but I started seeing that this guy's in Pennsylvania, Appalachian ADV, and then I'd get people coming into the shop and, hey, have you ever met Kane Wagner? I said, no, but I know who he is. It's funny. It took us like 7-8 years of knowing who each other were to actually to hook up and meet. But I certainly appreciated what you were doing and kind of followed it from afar and thought, this is great. This is great. The more stuff we have like this in our region, the better. So
yeah, I agree. Yeah, and I appreciated, like, you basically like reached out to me and said, hey, why don't you come to Soggy Bottom and talk about what you're doing? So, you invited me, and you get a really large crowd there. I mean, I think when you get like 600 people or so.
About, yeah.
Yeah, so it was a great opportunity to come out there and just kind of see how you run the event and see all the people that show up and get a chance to like tell people about what I'm doing. It was amazing, and I was super appreciative of that.
Yeah.
So since we're talking about Soggy Bottom, a lot of people listening will probably have been to it or at least have heard about it, but why don't we give them a little bit of a taste, because I think you do run your event somewhat uniquely compared to other large scale events. So let's break it down a little bit. Like, what's
Sure.
your kind of daily schedule and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, well, let me start by saying that owning a dealership and then having the support that we have from BMW puts us or gives us a unique ability and opportunity to, I think, to really provide a first-class operation to the best of our abilities. Do we bat 1,000? No, but just the fleet of vehicles that we have to provide trailside support, to have BMW co-op advertising dollars involved. I mean, the logistics of what we do, I don't know that anybody else tries to do. Organizing 2 remote trailside lunches where you're literally grilling upwards of 1,000 hamburgers trailside out in the middle of nowhere, presents some challenges. And those that are listening that have seen me the week of Soggy Bottom and during the event, boy, once Saturday night comes around, I'm like a different guy, because trying to keep all the juggling all the balls that whole weekend and keeping them all up in the air is pretty fascinating. But what we've evolved into, well, let me back up. So it was Soggy Bottom MotoFest was an adventure motorcycle rally. That's
Yeah.
what it was developed to be.
Uh-huh.
Because I didn't start off-road riding myself till about 10 years ago, and I got
Yeah.
into it through adventure riding. I had never ridden dual sports. I had never ridden, certainly not enduro, woods riding, anything like that.
Uh-huh.
Well, I got into it in the big bikes. Well, with my background and my lack of experience, what I knew was what I knew.
Yeah.
And so as I got better, and I'm pretty type A. I'm always looking to be challenged and looking for
Yeah.
harder terrain. As I got better, Soggy Bottom got harder. Okay? And then found this private ground right here in our region that is a reclaimed strip mine
Uh-huh.
that has it's just loaded with 2-track, ATV buggy trails that are
Yeah.
some of them are pretty gnarly. But I had this old beater GSA, and I'm taking it out there, and I'm seeing if I can get it through. And I'm mistakenly thinking that everybody else wants to do the same thing. So as those first 5-6 years of Soggy Bottom are rolling along, I start seeing a whole lot more small dual sports show up, and we started losing the big bikes, and before you know it was turning into an enduro ride, which
Uh-huh.
was never my intention. So to fix that, we really kind of, instead of just a standard A and B easy hard loop, we really
Yeah.
split it up into a adventure and dual sport loop.
Uh-huh.
Selling, all this is arranged with Pennsylvania DCNR.
Yeah.
How many I'm allowed to have in each route, but that's how it evolved. Okay,
Yeah.
and I tweak it every year based on feedback, based on injuries. Unfortunately, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
that's a little too aggressive, but that evolved, as did the timing of the event. We used to have, we've always had what I call 4 rides. So we'd have a
Mhm.
Friday evening or Friday afternoon ride, Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, Sunday morning.
Uh-huh.
People started arriving early. You could just tell the excitement level every year was increasing.
Yeah.
People started asking if they could move in on like Wednesday when the event didn't start till Friday.
Yeah.
And it's sure, let's do it. And then we started seeing that participation for the Sunday morning ride sort of tailing off.
Yeah.
And I get it, right? Everybody's tired based on the weather that year, either just had sweated to death or been soaked to death or whatever. And so they started packing up and moving home. So we just shifted everything a half day forward. Okay, so that
Yeah.
now the rides are Friday morning, Friday afternoon, Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. So
Yeah.
still 4 rides with remote lunch locations breaking up each day's ride.
Yeah.
And then pushing we had so many people arriving early that I'm thinking, well, why don't we just start doing something on Thursday on site to make it festive? Everybody's here
Uh-huh.
having a good time already. So that's what we started doing. Now it's progressed. So we open the gates up at noon on Wednesday, and by Wednesday evening, half the people are there already. So Thursday morning, we're doing BMW demo rides, beta demo rides. We've developed this adventure skills course. We've got a woods course for beta and start demos. So doing a lot, having a guest speaker already on Thursday nights.
Yeah.
So a lot of on-site activity and fun stuff going on Thursday before we start the official rides on Friday.
Yeah.
And then we close the event now on Saturday night with some slow races in the adventure skills competition under the lights. That's kind of always been our thing, under the lights.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, people really enjoy that. And then Sunday morning, folks get up, have breakfast, and then start moving out.
Yeah.
So that's the general progression. And we have guest speakers, and we used to do the live music thing, but didn't seem like there was a whole lot of interest in that, so we got away from it.
Yeah, I feel like the adventure crowd, it's a little different. It's more about hanging and telling of your trail stories.
I sort of felt bad for the band because we're paying for this band, and everybody's just like you said, hanging out at their campfire or their camper, hanging with their buddies, and they liked the background music, but the band We have a DJ. He'll put on some background music for us, and that seems to work just as well.
Yeah, I think, I was very impressed. Obviously you'd been doing it for a long time by the time I showed up to my first one, and just super impressed about like how organized it was. Like the lunch on the trail side that blew my mind, like that you guys are actually out there giving lunch to people on these loops. And then the fact that you breaking up, like here's you can run the street ride here, you can do adventure ride here, and then there's a dual sport ride here. And sometimes those dual sports have like an easy line, a hard line, or like a moderate line. So you guys put a lot of time and effort into those things. And the trail side recovery too. I remember seeing you having to go out sometimes and help, recover vehicles out there to get stuck or broke down, or if there's an injury, getting people out of there. Like it's very well put together.
Yeah, we don't leave anybody to their own. It might take us a while, but we're going to find you. We're going to get you out of there.
Yeah.
And do what we can to get you back, in the game for the next ride, if it's at all possible.
Right. Yeah. The food lines too. Like I was very impressed by just the quality of the food in general, but the fact that I showed up in the line to get something to eat, and within like 10, 12 minutes, I'm sitting down eating already. Like you have that many people going through those lines, but it just goes really fast.
Yeah, that's what I want people to recognize, that we put an effort into this, that we care about their experience from the second they park. I want the parking to seem like it's organized, not just a free for all.
Yeah.
So really, from the time that they're rolling on to the grounds, I want it to come across that it's that we care, that it's a professional event, and I think we get, again, we don't bat 1,000. There's always things to learn.
Yeah.
As the event grew, we definitely underestimated things at times, as far as just increasing by 100 people really changes the dynamics of the amount of injuries that can happen. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Some years, you get 500 people or 600 people out on the trails, and you have, 2 serious injuries, and then the next year you have 12. It's just one of those things where it's kind of hard to predict, but you have to prepare for the worst. And so yeah, we learn something every year, and I think we've kind of found our sweet spot as far as this 550, 600 rider. We have a cap of 500 riders.
Yeah.
With Pennsylvania DCNR. So the sport touring is another option. There's plenty of adventure bike riders that are just happy to go out and rip through the twisties of central Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And have a good time and participate, and we're not capped in that regard. We don't have to deal with the DCNR for that.
Yeah. That's a good point. Right before we jumped on, you and I were kind of talking about that aspect of it a little bit. So I understand completely the process behind it and why there are the restrictions. But some people might be wondering, when they register for the event, you have to register for a specific style of riding. It's not like you could just come in and then just do whatever you want. You have to pre-sign up for those things. And that also is somewhat unique. So maybe a little bit of background on that DCNR,
Yeah, every state is governed differently, and I don't know about, I know some of what our surrounding states are like. I don't want to use the word draconian, but Pennsylvania is tough.
Yeah, that's a good word. Yeah.
Tough. And I think, we talked a little bit, I think I used the word glacial pace, but things are getting a little bit better from an event organizer standpoint.
Yeah.
But it's slow. It's slow, and I do see both sides of it. These are mixed use trails. There's horseback riders, there's logging operations going on, there's hikers, etc. So, you throw 1,000 people on adventure bikes into the woods, and that can overwhelm an area pretty quickly. So I do understand it, but it's difficult sometimes to convey to our registrants that this is it. I can't, you've signed up for this route. This is where I've got to have you.
Yeah.
Because the DCNR, and that stands for Department of Conservation of Natural Resources, as you know, they do watch us, and they watch the other events in the area too. And there's a reason that you have a numbered sticker on your bike.
Yeah.
But I do, based on this year's sales, the Adventure had sold out it wasn't even, I think, 10 hours.
Yeah.
And Adventure had sold out from
Yeah.
when we went live. So I'm considering for next year maybe shifting it to 250, 250, or
Yeah.
even further 300 Adventure to 200 Dual Sport. So
Yeah.
we'll see what the feedback is like this year. But just based on demand, holy smokes, the
Yeah.
Adventure that's the fastest it's ever sold out.
Yeah. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. My Fool's Ride, it's similar progress as you were describing for Soggy Bottom. I kind of started it out as an adventure bike thing, but an adventure bike doing dual sport kind of things. And as it's grown, and I cap mine at 150, so I'm definitely not as large as you guys, but like one year, I had 90 people out of the 140 that were there that year sign up for the dual sport rides, and only like the rest for the adventure stuff. And then flip flop that another year, and then another year it was actually a little bit more even. So I never know what to expect for sure. And for me, I don't have to cap one or the other. We might have a larger group of riders as opposed to the smaller group just because of how many people are showing up for this stuff. But you never know. It's another one of those unpredictable things that you're talking about. Like, yeah. So for like the DCNR, same thing with the PA Wilds, my tour for the PA Wilds, I have to go through a lot of those same processes you do for your event. But for me, it's much easier because there's only a total of us, 14 of us. So me, my sweep, and a medic, and then the rest of the people that are showing up to things. So it's a little bit easier for me to manage, the DCNR process. I already have all the stuff in place. But for you guys to put this big giant event on and have to go through the PA DCNR and have all the restrictions and the things that you need to have in place to prove to them that you're prepared to have the event, I can't imagine how much time it must take you. And it has to take you a couple staff members as probably to kind of get through all those requirements.
I do it pretty much all. Because it's, there's really one point of contact that the DCNR wants with the event organizer. And so it's pretty much me. I am in charge. I do the routes. I certainly have help out there on the trail, as I typically don't ride alone. But it is, on top of running a dealership, working 6 days a week, you have to get out there on the trail. Things change year to year. I don't want it to be the same exact routes every year. I want variety for our riders. I want to find new stuff for those. I mean, there's people that have been to every single Soggy Bottom. And there's a lot of people that have been to the last 8. And so I appreciate that support, and I want to give them. I mean, you're always going to have some overlap, especially the closer we get to camp. I mean, there's only so many ways out of camp. But just trying to be creative, thinking. I always try to put myself in the rider's shoes. Oh, this would be great. Is this too hard? Is this not enough? It's And everybody, it's, as you well know, it's such a subjective thing. What is fun for one person is terrifying for another. We're all wired differently. We all have different expectations. We all have different goals. So you do the best you can. I look at it like a bell curve. Try to nail the middle. I try to make it hard enough that the elite riders, it's enough that the elite riders are still having fun, but not so over the top that the newbies and intermediate level riders aren't having fun as well. So because I don't have time to have 12 different routes. I just simply don't have the time.
You can't please everybody all the time, so it is what it is.
No, and by and large, and I'm sure you feel the same thing, that the amount of positive feedback we get is the people that appreciate the effort. It keeps me going. It keeps me doing it. So
for sure. So talking about keeping doing it, I know that Soggy Bottom isn't your only adventure style event that you do throughout the year. So you guys also do like a Kettle Creek kind of a deal. Why don't you talk about that one a little bit too?
So that evolved. I've been going, started with trout fishing when I was a boy up to the lower campground at Kettle Creek State Park. I've always loved it up there. And again, it just started as a group of friends going out and riding and camping overnight at Kettle Creek, and then we started opening it up to more dealerships. But that is, I considered having a second large rally in October, and I shelved it for this year. The thought overwhelmed me, and so we're keeping it small, 35, 40 riders, because now the DCNR requirements for 35 riders is the same as 500.
Yeah.
So the same insurance requirements, the same trail mapping, approvals, agreements, permitting, it's all the same. So that's why my mind started going, well, if they're going to make me do all this, I might as well go big.
Yeah.
But then I thought, oh my goodness, trying to coordinate all that for a second, it just overwhelmed me. And what seemed like a really exciting idea for about a week here, late December, as I kind of came down off that high and started thinking clearly, I thought, nah, let's just keep it where it's at. But it's a fun, chill ride. It's not supported the way Soggy Bottom is. The riders have to have stuff to get themselves back on the run. We're not going to leave anybody behind, of course, but you're expected to have everything, just as if you and a group of friends were going out to ride the Wyoming BDR. Be prepared. Yeah. Be prepared.
That's funny, because I had the same. So I canceled one of my events last year. Not canceled. I retired it, I should say. So my Allegheny Jamboree rally we were doing in Marionville, PA, for multiple reasons, I decided to stop doing that one. And I put out a questionnaire to the community. Hey, what should I do to replace it? Because I don't want to just not do something else. I just wanted to do something different. The one that I really thought about doing was doing like a tour like I do my PA Wilds tour, but like a Bald Eagle tour.
Yeah.
And then the same thing, I should say I'm adding another event called the Wildcatters Rally, and it's near Titusville, PA. So the fact that I decided to start that one, there was no way that I was going to be able to do the Bald Eagle thing too. It's just too many things. And I started getting that same feeling that you were getting, like, what am I getting myself into? So I am going to try to do that, I think, in 2027, potentially. Because maybe by then, the Wildcatters thing will be kind of set and easier to get moving. And then I can try to do another new one in Bald Eagle. But, oh my gosh, just thinking about the DCNR requirements and then going through the process to get the sanctions and the insurance for it, it's just, oh my gosh, it's so overwhelming.
And I think folks understand, because we're no different than them. We have work-life balance, we have family, we have kids. I'm very involved in my church. So there's only so many hours in the day, and I think the between your events, Chad's events, Chris and Zach Burke with Blackwater. I think there's a lot of opportunities to ride.
Oh for sure.
So.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk a little bit about the BDR stuff, because I know coming up, we're starting to get into the BDR documentary premieres, and I know you guys are having one there. I think it's February 28th. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, the Montana BDR premiere. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that movie coming out, and I'm going to be hosting a couple of those myself. But I guess before we jump into that, and let's talk about the BDR stuff. Like last year, they reached out to me. So I'm an ambassador for the BDR. They reached out to me and they said, hey, we did the PA Wilds BDRX, but they never did like the map for it, the paper map for it. So they wanted some, route descriptions and a couple of details. So they asked me to kind of help them out with that. And I started going through the route, because it'd been a while since I actually looked at that specific route. So I started looking at it and started writing some descriptions. And I said, you know what? From the feedback that I've gotten, nobody seems to want to go into Penn State University, on that loop. It's like, so why don't we make that change and kind of bypass it and still run close enough that people do want to go into town, they can, but have the main route kind of go around it. Mm-hmm. So as I'm looking at, and I'm going back and forth with the BDR contacts and trying to figure out where to move it, I reached out to you and I said, hey, we're thinking of moving this route, to this area, but I can't tell if there's gates there, and I haven't been over that way in so long, and it was dead of winter, and it's 3.5 hour drive, like I said before. So you were kind enough to work with me on that a little bit, and you actually went out and kind of pre-run it and made sure that it was good to go, and then we're able to reroute that thing. So I kind of want to mention that to people, that you've been a supporter of the BDR because of the MA being so close and the PA Wilds then getting right next to you. I just wanted to make sure people knew, like, that you're in it to win it, man. You're not just talking the talk. You're actually.
Oh yeah, no, we're a corporate sponsor for the BDRX.
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't we be? You know, like
Yeah.
it's right on our doorstep here. In fact, I think I'd have to talk to Jack about this, but I think he used some Soggy Bottom tracks for part of it, which I'm if that's true, I'm thrilled about. You know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's hand in hand with what we do. And I mean, we sell a little bit of everything here, the luxury touring bikes and sport bikes, but our bread and butter is, adventure touring and dual sport riding. So, play to your strengths. That's where we're at. And I just think it's a great organization too. The people involved are like us. They just love what we do. There's the conservation part of it. There's working with landowners. It's getting people out into the outdoors and unplugging, if you will. And so it's just I love it. The way I found out about it, I want to go back. It was probably 2014, 2015. A guy walked into the dealership one day and he said, "Oh yeah, I'm going to do the backcountry discovery route." And there was nothing on the East Coast at the time. It was one of the routes out west. And I said, "What are you talking about?" I never heard it. I didn't know what he was talking about.
Yeah.
And so I Googled it and I was like, "Oh, this is really cool," And then they started talking about the Mid-Atlantic, and that's where it really took off on the East Coast here. Yeah, no, I think it's fantastic, and I always encourage people. We get contacted very frequently from non-customers of ours, from well outside of our area. Hey, we've heard about your shop. We're trailering in. There's a bunch of us trailering in. Do you mind if we sleep in your lot and then launch from there for the BDRX? I said, hey, as long as you don't mind sleeping right next to the railroad tracks of Norfolk Southern Main Line, you're welcome. You're welcome to sleep in our parking lot. So, we're all about it. If it wasn't for these darn railroad tracks, I had ideas about putting outdoor showers out for guys, putting some grass in where people. But literally, Norfolk Southern's Main Line is, I could throw a baseball to it easily and hit it from where I'm sitting right now. So it makes for a pretty tough night's sleep with those trains rolling down the tracks every night. So people park here all the time. They're welcome to leave their trucks and trailers here. We have plenty of space and launch right here.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, it's great that's right in your backyard. It's like perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty amazing that that they even started doing it in the first place. But the fact that they've been doing it now for so long, almost every state eventually I think will have something in it for sure, whether it's a full scale or an X. But just the fact that you can go Gulf America to Canada on a BDR on our side of the country, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
Especially if you hit the Chattahoochee BDRX, the PA Wilds BDRX, you could spend several months just kind of traversing.
Summer. That's right.
Yeah, that's so cool. So you guys have been doing these documentary premieres for a while now, right? What was the first one you did? Do you remember?
I'm trying to remember. It was before the Mid-Atlantic.
Yeah.
It was probably either one or two premieres before the Mid-Atlantic, and then every one since then we've done.
Yeah.
We typically get 100 people in house here, and those that know the dealership are familiar with us here. We just put on a 5,000 square foot addition on the west side of the building, and before the 28th, we're putting in a real nice wireless projector, movie screen, surround sound.
Nice.
So the viewing experience will be in a nice dark room, and I think be really nice. You can rent a movie theater and do that, but I'm like, there's something about like the community and the family coming together at the dealership.
Yeah,
right? Because then we always give free lunch, free drinks, and then people can just mingle, and see what you offer in apparel and helmets and look at all the different used bikes. I mean, we have typically about 150 pre-owned bikes here. So people just love seeing, our inventory, and I think it's a better experience overall.
Yeah.
When you can. I mean, obviously you've got to have the facility to be able to pull it off. But
Yeah.
if you can have it at the dealership, but we've got it. It's like a well-oiled machine now. I mean, my staff shows up at 7 a.m. Whichever part of the building we're using, the bikes get rolled outside, swept, mopped, tables, chairs set up. We've got it down to a pretty good science now.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I know the one that I was able to go to there, the MA, just all the things you said is what I'd noticed, like how smoothly it went. The fact that the whole staff was like invested in it, and it's just really great to go, especially in the winter. It's perfect time for them to release them. It gets you into the dealership, gets people excited about the upcoming season. You start seeing people planning, hey, maybe we could do the BDRX, or we could do this, or maybe we should go out and try to do the new one wherever it's at. Like, it's just it's very exciting time for people, I feel like. And if you could do something special like you guys doing with, providing food and, having a bunch of people there, it's perfect.
Yeah, our chili cook-off, it's a similar thing. We do an annual chili cook-off, and it's usually Saturday or 2 Saturdays before Christmas, and we get over 100 people in here. We had people come from Connecticut this year for a chili cook-off, and it's the same thing. It's bringing that family together, people that love motorcycles in the dead of winter, and it never ceases to amaze me, the turnouts we get for some of this stuff. And you nailed it. It's just like, okay, it's winter. We're all excited for riding season coming up. Let's get together and hang out, tell stories, and we're all about events. That's what we do.
You said it earlier. It's not about selling the bike at the thing. And I feel the same way. Like when I go and host the documentary, if we got a Ohio Adventure Summit coming up here pretty soon, I'm not necessarily trying to sell people. I'm not a salesman. I'm a small business owner that likes to ride motorcycles, and I hope that you do too. And maybe if you do, maybe I'll see you out there at some point. When I send you the email to start coordinating this thing, I put a little pitch in there about a hard sell versus a soft sell, and that's kind of like where I want people to understand where I'm coming from. I'm not trying to shove something down somebody's throat. If you like it, great. If you don't, I understand. I'm not a salesman. I've never been in sales. I'm just trying to figure this out as I go. And not that you're the same exact way, but I kind of felt that just from going to the MABDR premiere, going to Soggy Bottom, talking to you here and there throughout the years, I felt like you were along that same lines where I want you to buy the thing for sure, but I'm not going to try to hard sell you.
Yeah, no, we're definitely not high pressure. We always try to get people, we listen to them. If we have the bike that we think will meet your needs, that's great. And we just ask, hey, give us opportunity. And if you get a better deal or for whatever reason you don't buy from us, that's no problem at all. We'll never be a dealership that turns someone away for service because they didn't buy from us. That stuff is just crazy to me. So it's like we appreciate everything, whether you're buying a T-shirt or a bike or whatever. At the end of the day, it's not just about making money. It's being part of this community, having just positive impact on people. That's really, there's bigger things in life than just making money.
So. Building and supporting the community for sure, and show for your Soggy Bottom, these other events that you do, just showing people a good time, showing you that you care, that they come to the thing. That's kind of the selling point to me. And as I prepare for these things, I always do, I don't want to say deep dive, but I do skim through websites, or I'll try to look through social media stuff just to kind of get some ideas of, topics to discuss while we're on these things. And the one thing, and I knew this before just from talking to other folks, but then I saw it again on your website. It talks about bike delivery and service pickup. And you mentioned earlier, the 200-mile thing. You actually have a radius of where you'll come and pick a bike up or drop a bike off, and it covers, like you said, a lot of major metropolitan areas. I kind of did a quick measurement. I mean, it looks like you'll come all the way over to Cleveland to drop a bike off or pick it up for service. Is that right?
That's right.
I feel like that's very unique.
Yeah, to a point. And I've already spoken about Max's BMW. when I took over in sales in 2014, I just looked at what some of the more successful BMW dealerships were doing in the Northeast. And Max has had Max Fest, like I've already said. They were running their Sprinter vans all over the place, picking up bikes in the winter for service.
Yeah.
And I just, well, why can't we do that? And other than Soggy Bottom, it is by far the best branding thing that we do. We do not, and I don't want to give all of our business secrets away, but I just think I don't do television, I don't do billboards, I don't do print ads. We're events and service.
Yeah.
And does it affect, it accomplishes a couple things. A, it keeps our techs wrenching in the winter.
Yeah.
And B, the people appreciate it,
Yeah.
It's very, very expensive to run Freightliner box trucks and to keep them on the road. Anybody in the trucking industry knows. If you think repairing your F-150 is expensive, multiply it times 10, and then you'll get an idea of what it costs to keep Freightliners running. But so it is expensive, but I look at it as an investment, as an advertising investment.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've talked to a lot of folks that have, done business with you, and they've always had like good things to say. Like it's the whole community first, I think, is kind of the gist of what people kind of would always say, which is always good feedback.
I have a couple basic business philosophies and life philosophies. The golden rule. Do unto others as you'd have done unto you, and that is a guiding principle. I want my employees to operate that way, and when you do that, when you make an effort just to be fair, it's amazing. It's amazing where that'll take you. And then also in the hiring practices, I will hire someone that I can tell enjoys working with people and understands the C word, the care word. I will hire that person over someone with a wealth of motorcycle knowledge every day of the week, because motorcycles can be learned, but it is a lot more of a challenge to find people that care.
Yeah.
And so that's what I really look for. I want to dive in. I want to find out about you, find out about, what makes you tick, what your family life is like, and just are you going to come in here and treat people the way you'd want to be treated? And it's pretty simple business philosophy.
I could agree with that one for sure. I try to do the same thing. I mean, I don't hire anybody, but I have volunteers that help me. People always ask, they want to help. And I love that. I love that people want to help me. But I have to know you somewhat before I want to bring you in, because you're going to kind of represent what I'm trying to do. And if you're not on the same exact page as me, then that's not going to work very well. So it's usually a good way to go, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, we're all people. We all make mistakes, and including myself. And I always tell the staff, hey, own it. You make a mistake, and how do you handle it once the mistake is made? Do you make it right, and do you show the customer you care? And that's our guiding principle in this whole thing.
Yeah, for sure.
I want people coming to Soggy Bottom and seeing that we care enough to try to cobble together a reasonably well-run event. And when they come to the dealership, to buy a bike from 4 hours away, never been here, the bike needs to be prepared. It needs to be ready to go. The correct accessories on it, And, so that's what we, no different than any other dealership wants, but I think we do a pretty good job of making it happen.
So that's funny you say that. So let's say I'm looking at one of your bikes online, and I decide I want to come down and take a look at it. I noticed that you have something called demo loop on your website. So talk about what you provide people that want to come down and take a test ride.
I think it is safe to say that we have the best motorcycle demo loop probably anywhere. So if you make the effort to come out to Tyrone, we have a 20-mile demo loop. that has about 17 miles of twisties, and it
Yeah.
goes up the Allegheny front,
Yeah.
and then turns and comes down. And I'm telling you, Kane, if I send a prospective buyer out on a GS Adventure on that loop and he comes back, it's let's just talk numbers. It's a done deal.
That's awesome.
There's not a single traffic light on the route, and it's pretty unique because most dealerships are in urban settings, you know.
Yeah.
So it's pretty hard to put a good test ride loop together there, but not here. Not here.
Yeah. I feel like you guys have been taking full advantage of the location you're at and the terrain around it for sure. With Soggy Bottom, the Kettle Creek thing, and the demo loop stuff, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Again, play to your strengths. We don't have the population density, but we have the riding. So.
All right. So like going back to this, support of the community, I noticed Jordan Wiley, who was GS Trophy guy, has been to your dealership a bunch, and you guys have given us some kind of support. Why don't we talk about him a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. So I probably met Jordan, I want to say 8 years ago. I think it was through Soggy Bottom MotoFest. And, just he has an infectious personality. He's been through a lot, but he is just one of those people that you want to be around. And his passion for adventure riding is probably unsurpassed. His riding ability I've seen over the last almost 10 years, transformative. He's pretty elite rider now, and he's put in the effort and the time, and it's being rewarded by that finish in the international trophy qualifying. And so we're super excited. He's a loyal customer here. I got choked up at our chili cook-off talking about him because he's used the words like "Kissell till I die," and that kind of support it means so much to me personally. And so we wanted to give back and support him and be there for him as he goes to represent the international team in Romania. So we're super proud of him. Glad to know him, and when we can help somebody out like that, we're happy to do it.
To be a GS Trophy guy, I mean, it shows you right there. It's kind of the pinnacle of adventure. I call it ADV dual sporting, like taking the big bikes and doing kind of dumb things with them. I think the GS Trophy kind of captures that for sure. And it's been amazing to watch people like Jordan ride a bike like that, doing that kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool that you guys have been, have that kind of relationship, and you've been very supportive of each other. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, I have built a lot of great friendships through this industry that no matter how long I'm in the industry, I'm sure those will be maintained. And he's on that list. He's just a great guy and good family man, and just a tremendous amount of fun to be around.
That's awesome, man. That's what we're here for, is to support the community and support each other, man.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, dude, I'm really looking forward to Soggy Bottom. Maybe I'm going to try to get down to the BDR documentary premiere there at the end of February. But I really appreciate you coming on and taking the time to chat. And it's nice. I mean, you and I, we've talked off and on here and there in little spurts, but to be able to sit down here for over an hour and just kind of run through it, it's been awesome, man. I appreciate it.
No, it's been great. And I appreciate your friendship and getting to know you better. And every time we get together, we're surrounded by people that are, and rightfully so, wanting to talk to us. And so it's hard for you and I to just sit down and spend some time one-on-one like this. So, it's been great.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Thank you very much.